Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. I'm Ronald McDonald.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively we're the Office Blokes.
Yeah.
We have 2 other YouTube channels. We've got a couple of franchises. We've got some property, fries, burgers, whatever you want.
Hamburg University.
Yeah, it's true. All graduated.
Yeah.
With honours.
With honours, absolutely.
Click the link in the description. It'll take you everywhere you need to go. We do appreciate it big time. It keeps us in burgers. The absurd scale of Pablo Escobar's wealth visualised. The Jeff Bezos one we did was nuts.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
Nuts.
Yeah.
But I've heard a few things about Pablo Escobar, how rich he was at one point, and it's
I watched
incomprehensible.
quite a lot of shows with him on it.
Yeah.
Or featuring what he was about and all that kind of stuff. And it's he was definitely an interesting character, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a card, wasn't he, as they say.
I've started watching Cocaine Cowboys on Netflix. Have you seen it?
I've seen it advertised.
And it's like 2 of the guys that were bringing the cocaine to Miami. And
I watched the first bit of it, mate. It did me head in.
I watched 2 episodes and it was really interesting topic, but there was something about it that made me switch it off.
Yeah.
I can't figure out
I watched
what.
like the first 10 minutes.
It's
and
a
then
documentary,
was
was
like,
it?
Yeah, but it's like a multi-part one, and the 2 main people bringing cocaine into Miami were racing powerboats, and they were like world champion powerboat races, all cocaine money buying it. It's their expertise running boats with cocaine on it.
Well, when you watch things like Operation Odessa, that kind of features them guys in it on a side bit. Somebody who goes to sea. Yeah, and it's all sort of like you see how all the connections are made on certain programs, documentaries that you watch. But Escobar's
next level, wasn't he?
Yeah.
If somebody were to ask you who the richest criminal of all time was, you would probably say that it was Pablo Escobar, and you would definitely be right in saying that, but you may not know exactly just how absurdly rich the man actually was. At the height of Escobar's power, and adjusted for inflation in 2012 dollars, he had an estimated net worth of $30 billion US. Now, $30 billion is a very difficult number to get one's head around, so let's look at this from a different angle. In 1989, Pablo Escobar was estimated by Forbes to be the 7th richest person in the world. If he were alive today and making the same amount of money, he would be placed 18th on that list. The engine that provided him with his immense wealth was his Medellin Cartel, a ruthless drug organization so large that it could be placed on the Fortune 500. For a time, the cartel basically owned an entire island in the Bahamas that they used as a refueling point for their planes smuggling cocaine from Colombia. The island had a 1-kilometer-long airstrip where they would land their large planes, transfer the cocaine onto smaller planes, and from there land on remote dirt roads in the south of Florida, where the cocaine would then hit the streets of the United States. The cartel was making 5 to 7 of these flights every day in their heyday, and even had a fleet of 2 submarines. Altogether, about 15 tons of cocaine was being smuggled by the cartel into the United States per day. This amounted to them controlling 84 to 90% of the cocaine supply in the United States, and about 80% of the total global cocaine supply.
Huge,
1 single kilo of cocaine cost the cartel an average of $1,000 to refine and another $4,000 to smuggle into the United States. Pilots who were employed by the cartel could make up to $500,000 per flight into the United States. Once on the streets of the United States, that kilo that cost $5,000 to arrive there could sell for anywhere between $50,000 to $70,000. What this meant was that Escobar's cartel was making $60 million in revenue per day.
Wow.
That equals $420 million every week, and that
Makes McDonald's look shit now, doesn't it?
This is a business model, isn't it?
Yeah, there may be a couple of flaws in this business model.
Let's see if we can find
I don't think many franchisees of McDonald's get shot to death, do they? Not in this country.
I'd like to think not.
Hope not.
meant an operating yearly income of $22 billion. They were making so much money that they had to spend around $1,000 each week just on rubber bands to keep their mountains of cash all neat and organized. They ran out of places to store their money and had to resort to stashing it in old, worn-down warehouses and even buried it in remote fields. Escobar decided to write off 10% of their monthly revenue simply because that's about how much was being eaten by rats or damaged by water. That's about $2.2 billion every year that was simply being destroyed, and it didn't affect Escobar much at all. This is a man who once burned $2 million in cold cash just to keep his daughter warm one time when she was cold. Now, let's get some perspective on these numbers.
Good dad.
Wow, I mean,
Daddy, I'm cold.
some sort of central heating system wouldn't have gone amiss there, would it? I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just go and buy a blanket.
Blanket, hot
Put
water
a sweater
bottle.
on.
And then you,
I keep seeing all rubber bands upstairs. I wonder what shipping them in by the box load.
oh, they.
I wonder what they're doing in that accounts department.
It's Mike's drug empire. Do you not know about it?
As stated earlier, these numbers are so astronomically high that they're very difficult to visualize. Let's think about how the average yearly income for somebody in Colombia today is $5,194. That means that today it would take 4,235,657 average Colombians to combine their yearly incomes just to match Pablo Escobar's. Moving over to the United States for a comparison, the average yearly household income here is $51,939. That means that the average household in the United States would have to work for 1,155 years, saving all of the money that they made in the process just to equal the same amount of money that Pablo Escobar's Medellin cartel was making in just one single day. Staggeringly, to match the amount of money the cartel was making in 1 year, it would take 423,574 average US households to pool all of their yearly earnings together. That's roughly the same population as the city of Miami. And what about Escobar's reported net worth of $30 billion? That value is so high, it's roughly equivalent to the entire 2016 GDP of Paraguay, a country with a population of 6,783,000 people. If the Medellin cartel at its peak was actually listed as an American company on the Fortune 500 today, it would be placed as the 129th largest company by yearly revenue, just making more money than the Union Pacific Railroad Company, while also making more money than Starbucks, Staples, Kohl's, Southwest Airlines, and even Facebook. But all of this wealth couldn't possibly last forever. Escobar's cartel was responsible for an estimated 3,500 murders, 500 of whom were police officers in the city of Medellin. Escobar himself was gunned down in a hail of bullets on the 2nd of December in 1993, and his cartel and wealth largely died with him.
It's nuts.
Wow.
It's Narcos, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the first series of it. It's
Narcos.
about Escobar. That was absolutely amazing.
How the hell did he sort of like get to be that big? Because nearly entire world of bloody
People
he was
weren't-
manufacturing it, wasn't he?
You know,
He was the first one, wasn't he?
Wow.
But people weren't really into cocaine when he started doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone was smuggling big things of weed like that was making him thousands. And then he was one of the pioneers of taking cocaine to
cocaine and stuff.
America, wasn't he?
It's a very
unbelievable.
standard kind of recreational thing now you see pretty much everywhere.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Beer.
Beer is
What are you calling me?
Yeah.
Alcohol. Yeah, he's definitely a pioneer in his trade, wasn't he?
He wasn't he? What was
It's
it, like
nuts crackers.
80-90% or something of the world's
80% of the world's population,
Supply.
world supply, yeah.
But I think, like I said, he was the pioneer of it, so there wasn't rivals
Is it like
at the
weed
time
and
when he
stuff?
first started.
like weed, like heroin and sort of like amphetamine.
I think it was.
That and
I think
stuff
weed
like
was
that.
weed was probably the. If Narcos is to be believed, everyone was doing weed, and
Yeah.
even Escobar was doing weed, wasn't he? That was his
So that
business.
took over from that, did it? More
yeah,
or less. And
yeah. I think
Well, if you watch the program Killing Escobar, it's about some guys that were hired to kill Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
And they were hired by the Cali cartel,
yeah.
which is
okay.
another
Different
place in
one.
Colombia. Yeah.
But I think the other cartels got big and powerful off the back of him, didn't they? Because he
was probably
started
splits.
making ridiculous money, and then that branched out
Well, you
to
get
everyone
splinter
else.
groups. You always
Right,
get splinter
okay,
groups
yeah.
and everything,
Yeah.
don't you? There's always, businesses like that with that much kind of money, they make splinter groups, and then someone always wants that wealth themselves. And
Yeah,
as soon as they
why
see
should-
that, and they think, well, I
yeah.
could do that.
Yeah,
I
why
could
should
be.
that be
I should
me?
be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how the murder.
How can you go from 30 billion to being shot dead though, when you've got that much? Where the average wage is $5,000, so how much do you have to pay people to protect you and everything else? It's nothing.
yeah,
Well, it's
True.
if you're paying me 50 grand to protect you, and he's saying, I'll give you 400 grand if you shoot him dead, and your trust is in me,
exactly.
and he's giving me the money, you're getting a bullet in your
and
head,
then
mate.
you've got
Yeah,
a job
but-
every year that's
Yeah.
going to be even more than
Yeah.
that.
But the
Then,
difference is his
money
level of
talks.
wealth and influence.
Yeah.
You
was
think it would have
such
been?
that-
You'd have thought it'd be sufficient, wouldn't you, to keep him safe? That amount of
Yeah.
money, and you think you'd have the best security in the world, wouldn't you?
Live by the sword and all that.
You know, of course it is, absolutely. They're all in the same boat, aren't they? These guys.
Yeah, you have to sleep with one eye open when you're in that, in that situation. And it's not an easy life like you Jeff Bezos has and
it's just
people
massive
like that.
risk, isn't it? Massive risk to your health.
Very rarely grow old, people like that, do they?
No.
Yeah, true.
I think there's a few of them that you've never heard of, and we will never hear of because they've got away with it and they've grown old. But
most of them get to a certain level, and like I say, people want to bring them down, don't you, and take over. So
watch the show Operation Odessa.
I'll have a look
and watch how fucking big balls that guy's got and what he does at the end. Just watch it. It's brilliant.
That sounds interesting.
My initial thing with the pilots is if I got paid $500,000 to do one run, then I'd be like, sweet, see you later.
Can't get out while you're in.
But the point is,
you're locked in.
If you've got yourself to the point where you're flying cocaine for the Medellin cartel, you don't just go, see you later, mate. Cheers for that. I'll see you.
We know your family, we know where you all live, and you don't mess with them, do you?
You know the flight paths, where they land, what they do, all that sort of stuff. You're not just... Unless you disappear, you're not just going anywhere, are you?
There.
World's too much of a small place to disappear from people like that.
That's right.
Well, someone's got 30 billion.
You heard about the guy in Amsterdam that tried to disappear, moved to Amsterdam.
No,
he was from the. He was one. I think that might be on Operation Odessa as well. It might
really. Yeah. All right.
Watch it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Have a look.
Sounds good.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget like and subscribe. Hit the bell. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.